But actually now, Jake Paul has got to think about what he's doing next. If you're that good and you think you're clever, why don't you fight Usyk? Alexander Usyk, he'll fight you. Let's see how that works out for you. Get flattened. Game over.
As the number 14 cruiserweight in the world, according to the WBA. This is an absolute mockery. It's an absolute disgrace. It's a total piss take.
Able to fight voluntarily to defend their championship against Jake Paul. Which, if I'm being honest, that's kind of crazy, bro. Isn't that crazy? Right? You're telling me you fought somebody that's not a natural cruiserweight, right?
The boxing world, both seasoned professionals and passionate fans, has erupted in outrage following the WBA's stunning decision to place Jake Paul among the top 15 cruiserweights in the world. To many, this move is not just questionable but downright insulting to the athletes who have sacrificed years of blood, sweat, and dedication to earn their rankings the hard way. Critics argue that Jake Paul's resume is paper thin, pointing out that he has yet to face a single truly credible, active, and elite opponent. Instead, his victories have largely come against retired veterans or obscure names who posed little threat in the ring. The WBA's action has sparked calls for a boycott, with respected voices inside the sport demanding a return to fairness, integrity, and merit-based recognition. For those who have fought tooth and nail for their positions, rewarding celebrity status over proven skill is a slap in the face. One that undermines boxing's reputation and diminishes the legitimacy of genuine contenders still fighting for their rightful place.
So I've just found out that Jake Paul, the YouTuber influencer who has been doing a bit of boxing against people who aren't boxers, aside from Tommy Fury, who is a complete novice boxer, and an old retired champion in Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., who has been through rehab and all kinds of stuff, been out of the ring for quite a while, an OAP Mike Tyson, who physically is in a terrible place, and two now inactive cruiserweights called Andre August and Ryan Borland, who I have absolutely no idea who they are. I've just found out that that's what qualifies you as the number 14 cruiserweight in the world, according to the WBA. This is an absolute mockery. It's an absolute disgrace. It's a total piss take. I've been in the middle of making another video about Hamza Shiraz and Edgar Berlanga, and I've had to just stop what I'm doing and make a reaction to this. And I'm just gonna go in raw here because I'm absolutely furious. I'm absolutely furious. Like, this is the sort of shit that we have to deal with as boxing fans. Everybody in this sport, and I call it a sport because that's exactly what it is, tries to treat it like it's just a business, like it's just a way of lining their back pockets. You cannot tell me in any world that Jake Paul has done enough to be ranked as the number 14 cruiserweight in the entire world. And I want to be really clear from the off, this isn't actually an attack on Jake Paul's boxing ability, because that's not what this is about. It's about what have you done to show me you're the 14th best cruiserweight in the world. Because for all I know, you might put him in there and you might do really bloody well. But that's not the point. You have to earn that position. How can you have earned that position? By fighting a bunch of influencers, athletes from other sports, and having lost to one of the only active boxers that you've actually faced, in Tommy Fury, who very much is a part-time boxer at this point in his life. And then your most recent and highest profile win being against a guy who didn't throw a bloody punch for the first half.
The backlash only intensified after Happy Punch broke the news that Jake Paul had officially been ranked number 14 in the cruiserweight division by the WBA, making him eligible to challenge Zordo Ramirez for a world title. To fans and fighters who live and breathe the sport, this decision is beyond baffling. The consensus among critics is that Jake has not earned such a distinction, having never stepped into the ring with a prime, high-caliber opponent. His fight history is peppered with retired ex-champions and little-known fighters who brought minimal threat, leading to widespread condemnation of the WBA's move. For genuine title contenders, this ranking is a bitter pill to swallow. Years of punishing training camps and brutal battles have traditionally been the only path to the top, yet Jake has seemingly bypassed that grind. Now, seasoned fighters find themselves facing the possibility of having to accept fights with him. Not because he's the most deserving challenger, but to defend their standing against a YouTuber-turned-boxer who has leapfrogged the traditional system. It's no wonder many see this as an insult to the sport's integrity.
Guy can now win a world title. Jake Paul, after beating Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., has now been moved to number 14 in the WBA official rankings, meaning he can be a voluntary defence for Zurdo Gilberto Ramirez's world title. But this is now where we need to beg the question of what is wrong with these rankings, because there is no world where Jake Paul is the 14th best cruiserweight. What do we do? What's boxing got to do to save this? Is it go to a one belt division like the UFC have, or is it just for the divisions that we've got and the belts that we've got to actually just sort themselves out? Make sure you subscribe for the updates. We'll keep it coming, but this is mental.
The criticism has escalated into full-blown accusations that the WBA is placing profit before principle. Many insiders argue that Jake Paul's ranking has less to do with his in-ring accomplishments and far more to do with the commercial value he brings. By elevating Jake, the organization has taken a gamble with its credibility, alienating the very fighters who fought their way up by enduring legitimate, dangerous competition. The cruiserweight division's reputation is now under scrutiny, as fans and athletes alike question whether the pursuit of pay-per-view numbers and hype has overtaken the sport's core values. For champions who bled and battled for their belts, this shift feels like a devaluation of everything they worked for.
After defeating Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., the WBA decided to give Jake Paul a ranking. According to them, he's the 14th best cruiserweight boxer in the world. I know they're trying to push him for a title shot and it's the show business and whatnot, but you're disrespecting all the cruiserweight boxers with this one. And to even be ranked, aren't you supposed to actually defeat someone who's ranked? Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. hasn't been ranked in years.
Jake Paul's victory over Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. played a pivotal role in his newfound legitimacy within certain boxing circles. Once dismissed as nothing more than a sideshow attraction, Jake has managed to turn his celebrity platform into a credible climb up the rankings, or at least, that's how some see it. His win opened doors and put him in a position where established champions can no longer pretend he doesn't exist. Jake has forced his way into the conversation, proving that he can silence some of his critics while compelling the boxing establishment to acknowledge him. Still, detractors insist this rise has come too swiftly, especially considering the context of his opponents and the relatively low level of difficulty he has faced to date.
Alright, so now that Jake Paul won his fight against Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., he's apparently ranked top 15 cruiserweights in the world. And apparently, I guess now, world champions are able to fight voluntarily to defend their championship against Jake Paul. Which, if I'm being honest, that's kind of crazy, bro. Isn't that crazy? Right? You're telling me you fought somebody that's not a natural cruiserweight, right? And now you're automatically ranked top 15 and you can fight a couple of world champions and it makes sense. Not that I think he beats any of them. I'm going to be completely honest. I can't see it, bro. If Jake ends up beating somebody, yo, shout out to him. He finessed his way to the fucking top and a world champion and really like cemented himself into the history books. But the way that he boxes, he's just very sluggish. He's kind of slow. You know, I think any cruiserweight world champion, even Badu Jack, would defeat him. And I actually don't even understand why he even wants to fight Anthony Joshua, besides the bag, obviously. But what do you guys think, though? This whole shit has gone crazy.
Skeptics quickly dismantled the significance of Jake's triumph over Chavez Jr., claiming it was far from a meaningful test. Julio, once a respected name in the sport, offered almost no real resistance in the ring. His sluggish movement and lack of aggression made him look more like a stationary target than a threatening opponent. What could have been a hard-fought, grueling match instead resembled a glorified sparring session. While some fans were quick to applaud Jake's performance, others saw little reason to celebrate a win over someone who failed to mount a competitive offense. For the purists, praise for such a one-sided and uninspiring bout rings hollow.
He did not throw barely any punches for the first half of the fight.
More than half. First 8 rounds, you might say.
Yeah, and a little life at the end, but too late when he knew the fight was winding down on time. I say this, that it was hard for me to gauge the performance of Jake Paul. It's essentially a sparring session, and I'm trying to see, is he continuing, is he developing, is he getting better? And off of this fight, it was hard to gauge when you find a puncher bag, but then towards the end of the fight, I thought he was exposed. The stamina started to dip, the defense wasn't tight, there were some technical flaws, you could find them, you could hit them. In the end, he gets a decision, he gets another win, he keeps his show moving on. What'd you make of this fight? What'd you think of Jake Paul and his performance overall?
Making no excuses for Jake Paul. Give him credit for what he's done with his career, with his promotion, with his business, with his dream. Give him credit. Give the guy credit. God almighty, take
The choice of Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. as an opponent was, according to many, no accident. Julio's long-standing reputation for underwhelming performances even during the height of his career was well known in the boxing community. Coupled with his personal struggles, including time spent in rehab, Julio was far from his physical and mental best when he stepped into the ring with Jake Paul. To critics, this was a calculated move by Jake's camp, selecting an opponent whose name carried historical weight but whose skills had faded dramatically. The result was a win tailor-made to boost Jake's credibility on paper, while raising accusations that he's gaming the ranking system through strategic matchmaking.
Chavez Jr., one guy performed, one guy did what he was supposed to do, brought the fight in, and one guy just did it. And if I'm talking about Jake Paul and a former world champion, you'd think that what I'm about to say favors the former world champion. And then you realize I'm talking about Chavez Jr., and then you say, no, well, okay, we have to flip those because Chavez Jr. is known for disappointing on the biggest stage, and that's what happened again here. I cannot tell you how disappointed I am in watching Chavez Jr. over the first 5 rounds throw a total of 36 punches. I didn't say land. That's not what I said. I said throw. Chavez Jr. threw 36 punches over 5 rounds. And out of the 36 he threw, he landed 8. 8 punches through 5 rounds. 15 through 6. 20 through 7. He landed 20 punches through 7 rounds.
Still, Jake's performance earned some positive words from Rayo Vallenilla, who publicly acknowledged his improvement in the ring. Coming from an active fighter, this praise held some weight and indicated that Jake's efforts have not gone unnoticed by his peers. Yet, even with such recognition, many remain unconvinced that one victory, especially over an opponent with a questionable level of competitiveness, should justify a leap into the WBA's top 15. For some, Rayo's remarks seemed less like an endorsement of Jake's championship potential and more like an act of professional courtesy.
I missed you, just I want to get your reaction to the fight.
Oh, great fight. Julio's back after all he's been through, so, I tip my hat off to him. It's not easy, especially through, what life throws at you sometimes, but, it was a good fight.
What'd you make of how Jake Paul looked and fought?
He's doing his thing. Jake Paul's looking good. Shout out to him. Yeah.
Do you think he's ready to, fight, maybe a top 15, top 20?
Sure, yeah.
So I guess where does Junior go from here in your opinion?
It's up to him. He can retire if he wants, or he can have another, fight like this. Fight a YouTuber or something.
Yeah. In terms of you, Rayo, when can we see you back in the ring?
I'll be back in the fall, hopefully.
The fall?
Yeah.
Do you have an opponent in mind?
Nothing set in stone.
All right. Hey, just want to get your thoughts. The rematch between Lamont and Roach, how do you see it? Tank and Roach.
That's a good fight. 50-50 fight, like the first fight. I'm going to go, I don't know, whoever.
Finally, Canelo and Crawford. Break it down.
That's a good fight, man. That's a good fight. It's hard to count Crawford out, man, because he's just a dog. And if anybody's going to do it, it's going to be Crawford or Benavidez, So, Crawford, I don't know. I'm 50-50.
All right, Rayo, thank you.
Thank you.
Jake Paul's ambitions clearly extend beyond merely being ranked. His bold public challenge to Canelo Alvarez for a cruiserweight world title shot demonstrates not only confidence but also a keen understanding of the entertainment and business aspects of the sport. Jake seems aware that the massive payday such an event would generate might be enough to tempt even Canelo. While some admire his audacity and business savvy, others see this as more evidence that Jake is pursuing spectacle over meaningful, merit-based competition.
Canelo. I mean, this moment will prove that I'm the face of boxing, the largest attraction, and me versus Canelo at 200 pounds for the Cruiserweight Championship of the world. It's even bigger than me versus Tyson, and it makes so much sense. Canelo's on his way out. He's going to want a payday, and I want to show the world that all the shit I've been talking about beating Canelo is actually true, and I'll have the biggest upset in the sport of boxing. Show that I have more followers than him, etc. This is going to be the most watched fight of the century, so I'm going to be the new money.
A cloud of skepticism continues to hang over Jake's career, particularly regarding the authenticity of his fights. Observers and critics have long suggested that some of his bouts appear engineered to ensure his victory, with opponents seemingly more focused on collecting a lucrative paycheck than seriously challenging him. This perception of staged or uncompetitive matchups erodes Jake's legitimacy and, by extension, damages the credibility of the ranking system itself. When wins are seen as products of calculated matchmaking rather than true sporting achievement, trust in the sport inevitably suffers.
As you are watching this video, Jake Paul and Julio Cesar Chavez are currently right now in the 7th round of their fight. But when you go to Google and Google the fight, it gives an accurate breakdown of all their past fights. And then it comes to the current fight and it says that Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. loses a unanimous decision to Jake Paul in 2025. The fight has not even played out yet. Yet they're saying that this is the end result as they are fighting right now, currently as it stands. This leans testament to the fact that people state that Jake Paul has his fights fixed. What's your thoughts on this? This is nasty work. Unbelievable. This is Google. Google it yourself. Peace.
One undeniable fact is that Jake Paul has become a magnet for massive paydays, drawing fighters from across the spectrum who are willing to meet his terms for the chance at life-changing money. This new dynamic has shifted the sport's priorities, with financial reward often outweighing competitive challenge. The danger, according to purists, is that boxing risks transforming from a test of skill and honor into a marketplace transaction where titles, rankings, and reputations are secondary to revenue potential.
I just saw KSI saying that he's gonna fight Jake Paul in 6 months. What the fuck is this? Another celebrity bullshit scam? Nah, none of that fucking bullshit. Jake Paul, I will fight you. I'm a fucking nobody. I'm no washed up legend, no fucking celebrity. I'm nothing, I'm nobody. But I will fight you. Give me 6 months. I will be the one to step in that ring with you. And I'll fight you for real. All smoke, all heart, all grit. That's what it really takes. That's what boxing fans fucking deserve. Yo, everybody, if you're watching this, add Jake Paul, tag him, do whatever it takes. Let's make this happen. It won't be KSI, another fucking celebrity, another fucking bullshit, fucking wasted boxing scam. It will be me, someone with no background, no experience, no nothing. I come from nothing, and I'll fight him. I'll give everybody the fight they deserve. We wanted to see Iron Mike knocking down his ass. You know what? I'm here to finish the job. Let's make this fucking happen.
The fury among fans over Jake's sudden rise to cruiserweight ranking is deep and widespread. For them, his elevation after defeating a barely competitive opponent cheapens the entire sport. Years of dedication and sacrifice by legitimate contenders feel brushed aside in favor of a celebrity-driven spectacle. It is this perceived betrayal, choosing marketability over merit, that has hardened many fans against Jake's legitimacy as a contender.
So after Jake Paul's win against Chavez Jr., he's officially ranked number 9 in America for the cruiserweight division and number 70 in the world, which this is ridiculous. Chavez Jr. was retired. How can beating him mean that you're top 10 in the cruiserweight division when there's actual fighters and prospects that's been working their way up? This is crazy. He's fought at heavyweight, he fought Astrick at whatever weight, but he's only fought 2 real boxers, Tommy Fury and now Chavez Jr. And an 80-year-old Mike Tyson, there's no way he should be ranked in the top 10. They're already calling for a fight with him and Zurdo Ramirez, which is ridiculous. I feel Jake Paul loses to any young prospect in boxing right now. Any one of them takes him out. Seems like the sanctioning bodies are just trying to cash out real quick before this little era is over. It's bringing a lot of, popularity and notoriety to boxing. A lot of new casual fans are coming to the sport, so I guess it's good putting boxing back on the big stage. But this is cancerous for the sport itself. Aside from all the glamour and viewership, this is cancerous to the sport. We see how they just sell out for the money.
Boxing traditionalists were particularly troubled by Julio's showing in the final rounds of his fight with Jake. His sporadic, half-hearted punches seemed designed more to avoid complete humiliation than to mount a serious comeback. For critics, this fight was yet another chapter in the ongoing suspicion that Jake's career is padded with matches chosen for their ease rather than their challenge. The trend of targeting older, past their prime fighters has led to victories that many consider hollow victories that, despite their lack of legitimacy, are now being used to justify his rapid climb.
Welcome back to the Pain Game. Today we're going to talk Darren Till versus Tommy Fury / John Fury, of course. But first, some more important and quite serious news in the combat sports world. Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul, it's come out now. It was rigged. I can't believe it. You know, you have to question the validity of boxing these days when you can't trust two professionals to get in the ring and do their best against each other. And instead you find out Mike Tyson pulling his punches, not trying to hurt Jake Paul. Absolute disgrace. I thought better of them. You know, I really did. I thought that Mike Tyson, especially, Iron Mike, he was just going to go in there and knock Jake clean out. But here he is, not trying. I'm so disappointed.
Carl Frocke's brutally honest assessment reflects the frustration of many boxing greats. The former champion challenged Jake Paul to prove himself by facing a truly elite opponent, such as Alexander Usyk, if he genuinely believes in his skill. Frock didn't stop there. He openly mocked Jake as nothing more than a clown fighter, dismissing the idea that Jake possesses legitimate knockout power. He argued that any perception of Jake's punching ability is baseless, given the level of opposition he's faced. This candid dismissal underscores the widening divide between those captivated by Jake's marketing genius and those who believe his boxing credentials are still untested. Until Jake faces and defeats a genuinely dangerous opponent, Frock and others like him are unlikely to change their stance.
He's useless. Who said Jake Paul's got power? It's like he's hitting him with a feather duster, like, you know, just flicking it in his face. It does make you question them wins he's had, where he's hit him with one shot and they fell on the floor like they've been tasered. Can you imagine that being my dream fight and my biggest payday? Fighting a clown. Jake Paul don't know what to do with himself when he's under pressure. You know, he's on his back foot looking at the floor, probably closing his eyes. It's fair to say he's absolutely useless, isn't it, Jake Paul? He can't fight, can he? I reckon looking at that, how many rounds do you think I need to beat Jake Paul? Seriously, 2 rounds or a round? 1 round? Is that the end of Jake Paul now or what? He's absolutely useless.
That concludes today's coverage on the Jake Paul ranking controversy. Stay tuned for more updates and developments as the situation continues to unfold.